Hey, what's everyone? So today I'm just going to take a look at the Transformers Kingdom Wave 4 Deluxe Class Shadow Panther. Before we take a look at him, let's take a look at the packaging. So I'm just going to move him off to the side. Here he is in the Panther mode on the box, which does look quite nice. Here he is in the robot mode, which does look really cool too. And on the back of the box, and he transforms into 20 steps. Here he is in his Panther mode, robot mode 2, and the typical Kingdom artwork. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. Let's quickly take a look at the collector card. Hopefully you can see it well. These collector cards are very reflective, but I got Black Arachnia. And it's a typical picture that we've seen of her on the collector cards, but if you open it up, it is different. Here she is with a lot of dark colors, very bright red eyes, and a really cool staff you can see. Hopefully you can see that well. And of course some typical language there that you can decipher on the Transformers websites and find the secret message. But here is Shadow Panther, and I think he looks really cool. Let me just bring the camera down so you can see that better. There we go. Let's take a look at the details. So let's start at the top. So for the head sculpt, overall looks really cool. Nice silver and black for the eyes and helmet. Some of my teeth detailing there, if you can see that, looks pretty good. We do have some yellow for the shoulders, some black for these little outer pieces there, some silver for the side of the arms there. On both. We do have a Predacon small on that side, not on this one. We have black for the hands, some fur texturing detailing all over on the hands, the waists, the head, and on the legs too, which of course is mostly supposed to be for the animal mode, but still looks pretty cool in the robot mode as well. We do have some nice black detailing, nice black paint on the weapon, some silver too, looks pretty good. For the chest, we have some black, some nice red for the animal head, looks pretty good. Nice ears there, look pretty good. Some nice silver detailing for the crotch section, some black for the top of the leg. Some more black on the sides and front, and some silver detailing there, and some spike detailing too, which does look pretty good. Silver for the feet, and if you hinge these out, we can see some more detailing on the inner parts of the legs, which do look pretty good. And on the back, it's pretty plain. We do have the animal legs back there, but you can really compress those however you wish. You can have them like that. You can overlap them several different ways. I prefer to have it that way. It looks a little more streamlined, a little more compressed, doesn't stick out as much. Which, there you go. That's really it for detail-wise, so let's get into some comparisons. So here he is with his wave mate, Waspinator, which does look pretty good. Overall, between the two, I do like Shadow Panther more. There is one, I would say, not big problem, but it is an annoying thing with Waspinator, which I'll get into that, of course, in his review. Overall, he is an amazing character. Just between these two, I do like Shadow Panther more. So let's move Waspinator off to the side. Of course, we have to compare him with his mold mate, Cheetor, which again I do think is a major improvement. Shadow Panther is a major improvement from Cheetor, in my personal opinion. I'll get into that on why it's better in and out through this video. Mostly it has to do with the head and during transformation, so we'll get into that, of course, when we're transforming it. But let's get into some, similarities and differences between the two. Of course, the only difference is the head sculpt. In my opinion, this head sculpt looks amazing on Shadow Panther. An amazing job well done by Hasbro. Looks so good. So of course, the only difference really is the deco, the head sculpt, and that's really it. No spots on the Panther, of course. Spots on Cheetor, and just a lot of black paint and silver for Shadow Panther, a lot of yellow, orangish kind of, and some spots, and some blue here and there. That's pretty much it. But as you can see, the overall structure is the exact same. The legs on the back are exactly how they usually are, and that's pretty much it. So comparison-wise, that's pretty much it. So let's get into articulation. So, we should take his scythe weapon out of his hand to get that out of the way. Let's get into articulation. So for the head, you're going to have to move it back so you can rotate it full 360. Make sure you rotate it back or it will not work. So you can move it up, you can move it down, that's pretty much it. For the arms, they can go up that far. There is a bend at the elbow. There is a swivel. There is also a swivel here at the hands. That's pretty much it for the arm. For the waist, what you're going to want to do is, just to get these out of the way, just move those out. and you can rotate that far that way. There is something blocking it, so you cannot go a full 360, but you can just go to this side and do the exact same thing. It's weird. I'm not really sure why it's that way. I don't really want to, push it too hard and break something, but it is just kind of stuck there, so I don't think you can do a full 360 like that. But still, pretty good articulation for the waist. For the legs, they can do a semi-good splits. There is knee bend, and you can kick that far back, that far forward, and there is an ankle tilt on both legs, which is a pretty good degree. So that's pretty much it for articulation. Let me just straighten him up here. Let's get into transformation. So first, what you're going to want to do is make sure you bring these panels out. That's like the first thing you need to do. Make sure you do that. So bring those out and back like that, just back there out of the way. Now you can do the arms. You're just going to get that little groove there and that little slot, and that will just go right into place like that. And then what you're going to want to do is go to the side and make sure the hand is like that, facing that way. Do the same thing on the other arm. Get in that groove, rotate it, just like that. So there you go. And now the main part of why this is an improvement, so we'll get into that in just a second. So for the head, you're going to want to very carefully just get this panther head out. Before you do that, you're going to want to move the robot head up and around and in, like that. And it will sit flush against that. I do think there should be a little bit more room. I'm hoping this little panel won't cause scratches on the silver paint. I don't think it will, but I still would advise caution whenever you get this figure. Do be careful, especially with this head and that piece back there, because that's literally exactly what happened with my Tudor. This little area back there chipped, and there is some chippage in there for my other Tudor. That's why I have two. This one has been completely fine, and I'm so thankful for that. So I don't really want to test my luck, so I am still very careful with this figure. So now what you're going to want to do is just easily take that out very slowly. As you can see, no problems there, which is good. And just use that hinge. And slowly, and I want to say that with a lot of emphasis, slowly put this head into that area and there, and it will all be fine. And see, there is absolutely no problems, which is such a relief. If you don't know what I'm talking about at all, I will explain it to you soon. I have probably explained this before several times, of course, when I first reviewed Tudor, but I will explain it again for new subscribers of mine or new viewers of mine when this is done. So now what you're going to want to do is just bring these sections in. You can move these out of the way if they're in the way. You can bring these sections in, and these, of course, there's some tabs and slots there, and that will compress all nice and good. There we go. And these panels will collapse in like that to fill in the sides, and you can bring these arms or legs forward like that. There you go. And now just for these robot mode legs, very, very simple transformation. Just bring the feet in to those gaps, and it will just kind of push the panther legs into place. So there you go. Just kind of straighten everything up here and have it in a more dynamic pose, I would say. And now for the tail, I would advise also caution with this. I don't think it will happen. Just, it is pretty tight to fully put it in there, so I'm only going to partially put the tail in that port, because I did it one time, and you really have to yank that sucker out. So if your copy's like mine, and you want to fully put it in for your video or position on your setup or anything, just when you want to take it out, just wiggle it out. Don't yank it out. That's a very, very bad idea. So I'm just going to partially put it in. You can fully put it in. It's just very, very tight, and I don't want to yank it out on cam and, make a big mess on cam. So I'm just going to save everyone a lot of trouble, especially me. So there he is in his Panther mode, and I think he looks amazing. So let's get into the main major improvement on this mold. So the bottom line is that, of course, I showed you before that there was chippage. There is some breaking right there, as you can see, because the head of Tudor is too big to go into that animal mold. I'm pretty sure these animal molds are the exact same size, of course, just different paints. They just had too little space because the head sculpts are different, as you can see with Cheetor, he has a lot bigger of a head sculpt. He has these ears, and this whole back section is a very top, it's very top heavy. I mean, not top heavy, very big on the top, not much on the back. So that's really what caused the breakage, these ear sections, and that was a shame, but that's why I have two, because one is, mint condition complete, and this one's a little bit broken and busted up, but that's why it's an improvement. There's no problems with it so far with Shadow Panther. I'm hoping it will never happen, but I still would advise caution in that area around the head and this little piece right there. But as you can see, no problems so far, so I'm very, very glad. But let's get into some details of Shadow Panther's Panther mode. So we'd have some nice black and fur texturing detailing all over, which does look pretty good. We have some red for the eyes, nice ears there, mouth. We do have some paw detailing, which does look really cool. Nice claws there. Same for the ones in the back. Looks pretty good. We do have some silver and yellow bits sticking out here and there, which is okay. Some yellow for the joints, some silver. Of course, these are the feet and the outerior detailing of the legs from the robot mode, but that's okay. I think it's fine. So yeah, overall, a really, really cool Panther mode. So let's get in a comparison. So let's just get Cheetor out, and we have to show them next to each other, of course. So overall, they're quite similar, really just the deco. That's it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this review. I just wanted to say that now. It is kind of a repetitive, similar review to Cheetor. I'm hoping it's in more depth and just letting you know, the possible, things that could happen getting Shadow Panther. I haven't had any problems. I still would just, warn you about those areas. I don't think it will break like it did Cheetor, because the head sculpts are pretty much completely different, not nearly as big as Cheetor's. There's a lot more space in there to work and not have any problems, which is good. But very, very cool. So let's quickly get in articulation of the Panther mode, and then that will be it. So articulation-wise, this can rotate all the way around. It can move out and up and down, of course. There is a ball joint for all of the paw/claws for all of them, front and back. There is a hinge there and back, which is pretty good. So there's a lot of articulation for the back legs, because these are, of course, the robot mode legs, so a lot of articulation. I'm just going to take the tail out, just so this is easier on all of us, so they can hinge that far out. There is a hinge there, and in, and there is a hinge back, and forward, and of course, again, a ball joint at the paw. So that's pretty much it, so I'm just going to put that back into place for the full effect for the final thoughts. So overall, I think it's an amazing Panther mode. The robot mode really is the main star, of course. That's where the most change is, but I'm still glad I'm able to transform this anytime I want, not really as worried about breakage as I was with Cheetor. I'm so glad they were able to improve that, because I did pay overpriced for this one, and I was really, really worried. Was I going to pay like, $10, $13 overpriced and just have it break exactly like how Cheetor did? But it didn't, and that's such a relief. So hopefully you enjoyed this review. Do let me know what you think of this figure in the comment section below. And I think that's it. So I'll see you next time.